She was one of the first of many sports reporters we've burned through. I don't know. Hi, Erin. Great to see you back in your seat.
Great to see you as well.
And look, how thrilling it is because I know you've always been a news hound and you've always been there doing the sports and TV was your love and you were kind enough to come on here and help us out when we started on. But we've gone through so many sports reporters. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether they've looked at us and thought, these aren't really fit, sporty type of people.
Well, I think every time I came on, you basically asked me about what the locker room was like, if I'd seen nudity.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't know if sport was really your thing.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
and
no.
you looked at me, you thought,
mate,
look how great you've done. It's great to see you.
look at me now. Just Google me.
What do you mean?
Flying.
No, you are flying.
No, it's great. You know what? I'm very lucky to do what I do. I've got a great job and I work with great people, so very, very blessed.
You always look fantastic. You know your stuff. I've always been impressed by people that know their craft.
Well, thank you. I'm right back at you. And many people talk about the fact that you're the best in the business with buttons and things.
Oh,
That's
everyone knows that.
Oh, and Jackie, you're good
How to
too.
press buttons. I don't press the buttons.
She's tried before. It was a
sit
disaster.
here.
Was it really?
No good.
Oh, yeah. In the whole time I've been doing radio, never once learnt what to do over that side.
Why bother, she thought.
Well,
Why
when you're
should
hot,
I?
you really don't need to press
She's
buttons.
amazing. She's very good at
offence,
everything.
Carl.
No, that's fine. Hey, now a lot of people don't know about you. You were born in Canberra, grew up
Yes.
in Indonesia.
Yeah, for a fairly
never
big
knew
chunk.
that.
Yeah, so Dad was in the army, so he was at the embassy over there. So he was the army attaché and then the defence attaché.
Wow.
It was a really
so hang
great
on.
experience.
You lived in the embassy in Indonesia?
Well, not in the embassy, so to speak.
Because that's
but
fancy as. Like that guy who did the WikiLeaks. You like that guy?
Oh, like Julian Assange.
Slightly different. Like Dad was paid to be there, it wasn't
right.
under house arrest. But there's a lot of similarities to the two situations. I also didn't bore a child in the embassy
Exactly.
either. But no,
Who
it
would
was a
have
great
thought?
experience, and we were there in '98 when I don't know what your history is like with Indonesia, but when Suharto fell and he was this tyrant of a president that
Right.
ruled the country for 30 years, then all of a sudden the people kind of rose up and said enough, and there were riots and we were evacuated. But it was this incredible experience to look at people power.
How old were
basically.
you during all of this evacuation?
There was two periods of it. The first I was about 8 to 11 and the second was about 14, 15 when that second 1998. Yeah, so and that basically I guess sparked my interest in journalism and news and in because we drove through the Trisakti University shootings where basically the police opened fire on students who were protesting peacefully and it wasn't on the news that night. And I said to Mum and Dad, why isn't it on the news? And they said, well, corruption and they're hiding it, and it just made me realise the importance of journalism and reporting things that occur.
And that's where the thirst for journalism was born. In the back seat, there was some shitty car in Indonesia with people shooting.
It was a blue bus. I think it had Bintang logos on the side as well as school bus.
I love this.
My
Next
gosh.
level, yeah.
What a story.
There you
Yeah,
go. So it was a great experience, and I speak Indonesian as well, day-to-day Indonesian. So, I mean, I don't get a lot of use out of it now.
But give me something in Indonesian.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to put you on the spot. or anything,
No, please. Besok pagi saya akan pergi ke toko dan mungkin susuri itu akan minum susu. Tetapi sekarang saya sedikit capek karena bayi
but we
saya...
don't need to go on and on.
Hey, when I get an opportunity...
Oh, that's
I'm
amazing.
looking for a gig on SBS. Come
What
on.
is that you said there? What did you tell
I
us?
essentially just said after this I've got to go to the shops and pick up some milk, and I'm a little bit tired because my baby was up all night going wah wah.
Oh, 2-year-old baby. How is
Yeah,
she 2?
So toddler, not a baby. It's awful. She's getting too big.
Don't worry, Kyle still refers to Kitty, who's almost 10, as your baby.
I do.
Your
I love it.
Your
I
little
go, how's
baby.
the baby?
Oh,
She's like,
bless.
she's nearly 10. I'm like, yeah.
But they're always your baby, aren't they? They're always your little.
They
I used
are.
to think it was so dicky when people would write on Instagram and post photos of like 1-year-old and 2-year-old kids and say, "My little bestie." They are legitimately your little bestie.
It's true, right?
Like she's great company. She doesn't
Well,
give
she
me
doesn't talk
lip.
back, yeah,
No,
exactly.
absolutely. And she thinks I'm funny and she says I'm pretty. She's
Well, you are
perfect.
pretty. So
Oh,
the
stop
child's
it.
very, very
So
aware.
I mean, I haven't even done my hair or makeup, Carl. It's really sweet of you.
Now, and you're also, you're with a policeman,
Yes.
but that's, you won't commit to marrying him, I've noticed.
Well, you got to keep your options open, Dal.
Now, what's it like with a policeman?
Look, he's in homicide actually, so he's away at the moment. But no, it's great. It's an important job, and I think my dad was in the army for 40 odd years.
So you love that sort of...
Oh, it sounds
Man
a
in
little bit
uniform
sick that
thing?
I like men that remind me of my father, but I have so much respect for anyone who serves our nation in whatever capacity,
Sure.
whether it be in the military or the police force. And I just think they're so incredibly brave, and
Well,
what they
are.
do is so important.
That
And
is
do
true.
you, do you ask him about cases? If I was with someone who worked in homicide, I would want to know all about the cases and all
Can
the
I
details.
tell you, Jackie O, and you might be able to relate to this, when you start dating someone, you as well.
Yeah.
They try to impress you. So when we first started dating, he would tell me so many stories. He'd come home and he wouldn't stop talking, and I would lap it up because I find it fascinating.
Was he throwing down the photos of murder
totally.
scenes?
Handcuffs, the whole shebang, right?
Put the badge out, put the gun on the table. Oh, so sexy.
3 months in, he'd come home and be like, hey, babe, what happened at work today? It's confidential. I can't talk about it. And then we'd go to dinner or something with other people, and I'd hear him, and then they found the body face down. I'd be like, oh, so you're happy to tell other people? By the way, he doesn't tell, obviously, any details.
Yes, of course.
These are past cases that have been made public. But so he used to, but now he gets home and, we've got a 2-year-old. We're too tired.
Exactly.
Glass of wine, go to bed.
Yeah.
So you do get over it after a while.
Well,
you're like, oh,
I'm still interested in it, but he's just lost the inclination to tell me.
To use it as a lure or a carrot. Yeah, exactly.
Totally,
I love it.
Yeah.
And he's a detective, so he doesn't have a uniform?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, what a shame.
I know.
Oh, that's hot though. Detective.
He does wear a suit well.
Does
and he's
he?
got a badge.
Oh, yeah. I love the badge.
Oh, how good are badges?
You know that I got in trouble for impersonating a police officer when I was young. I had my own badge and everything.
You know why?
Why?
Because that's highly illegal.
Yeah, I know you're not allowed.
I know.
No, absolutely.
Really
There's a reason for that too.
Yeah.
Imagine if someone was in a crisis and you're there with a badge and
I
they're,
know.
officer, help.
I know.
What would you do?
And I'm sitting at the McDonald's window just trying to get free McDonald's. That's what I used it for.
Is he also really good at detecting a liar? Those homicide detectives know when you're lying, right?
Their ability to manipulate so you'll sit down and we'll have a chat, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, you just totally twisted that, and what the hell? It is ridiculous. So yeah, he's very good. I remember I used to pretend that I'd clean the whole house, but I'd get Jimmy in, who comes in and does it for $50. And I'd say to Sean, oh, I did it. He'd be like, the remote controls facing this way on the couch. You don't do that, Jimmy does. I'm like,
how
oh,
observant.
mate.
You can't get away with
ridiculous.
anything.
If I don't use fabric softener, he can tell in the washing. If I just use detergent,
I love this bloke. He's like me.
No.
I'm a washing fiend. I love the washing.
Oh my gosh, so much in common, because he can tell. He sniffs it and he says you didn't use the fabric softener.
You know what you can do? Do you use dryer sheets? Do you buy those?
No,
it's
what
like a
are
little
they?
sheet like a tissue, but it's thicker than a tissue. You pull it out and you throw it in the dryer and it makes everything smell lovely.
like a
scent.
tissue that doesn't tear.
There are so many things I would have assumed about you. This is not one. That you're into
he's
washing.
writing to his laundry.
Very good at the
Wow.
laundry. Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, so this Friday night football, you're covering this, Broncos versus South. We know nothing about it. I won't be watching
love it.
But everyone who loves football will totally be watching it.
Can I suggest just this once that you guys watch it? I know, Jackie, you're probably busy with shooting other stuff. Just this once, and watch the post-game show. It's actually very good.
So what happened? So
the football's on, and then there's a show afterwards that goes for about an hour called Friday Night Knockoff.
Right, and you're on that?
Yeah. And it's actually, I know this might be hard to believe, but we just have fun. We take the mickey out of each other. It's a really good show. Lots of very good feedback.
Is that right?
I mean, I wouldn't like to brag or anything, but it's actually very good. And yeah, it'll be a great game, Souths v the Broncos, and the coaches are there's a lot of tension between them, so that adds to the theatre.
Okay, well, do I need to know how the rules of football works to enjoy the after show?
Absolutely not.
Is
In
it
fact,
like an
we
after
rarely
party?
talk. It's like the continuous call team on 2GB. We don't actually really talk about football.
Right.
It's just a lot of others. It's like an after party. Absolutely.
It's an after party after the football. Okay, now, how's it going over? So you are on 2GB as well, doing that with Ray.
Do continuous call team? Yes. So Ray
that's
doesn't
fun.
do it this year, but Ray's brilliant. Ray's good. Oh, it's so much fun. We just talk absolute crap for hours.
Do you like radio more than TV? I know
I
TV's
started
your love.
on radio. It's funny. Radio was always my first love, and I love radio. I'm very lazy. I don't do my hair and makeup unless I'm on air or working.
Yeah.
I love wearing tracksuits. I'm a dag. I love it. It's my first passion. But look, TV's
I'm sure
fantastic.
I'm not comparing to you there, Jackie, with the dag.
No, look
you
at
dress.
me. I
gonna
know.
say,
I'm like, no
She's dressed head to toe in PE
Jackie's
Nation.
a glamazon.
She
Stop
looks
it.
good.
But no, I
Radio's
love
the
both.
best though, isn't it? It's like the one thing I hate about TV is hair and makeup. I don't like doing all that
I'm
stuff.
exactly the same. When I don't work, when I'm not on air, I'll put on a tinted moisturiser if I'm going out in the sun that has a sunscreen. I don't do anything. And to be honest, I should make more effort.
You don't need to.
No, honestly.
I think makeup
I'm a
was
woman in my mid to late 30s
Wasn't
now.
makeup made for ugly people to feel better? Like if they've got something they want to
Potentially.
cover over? I think everyone looks great.
Well, you know what? Let's embrace it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Start
Even
on
air.
Friday night. No makeup.
Because
Go
it's not
on, we
about
dare
my
you.
looks, Never.
Hey, by the way, over there, have you seen that Ben Fordham roaming the halls at 2GB? Great guy, horrible broadcaster. You'd have to agree.
Absolutely not.
too much yelling.
He's a phenomenal broadcaster.
You've got to say
He's
this.
He gives him a hard
Oh,
time.
my
I
God,
know
are
you
you
guys
kidding?
have a love relationship,
No,
and I know
no.
you love Ray as well. But no, he's a phenomenal broadcaster, and filling the shoes of Alan Jones would be no mean feat for anyone.
Exactly.
And I think he's doing a fantastic
Oh, we all know
job.
they're not really shoes. He's filling Alan's purple slip-on slippers. We know.
They are lovely, a shade of mauve, I
They're
think. To be
lovely,
honest.
yes. Yeah, not my colour palette, but anyway, each to their
He
own.
actually, do you see him on Sky often, Alan? He looks,
Yeah.
his suits and his
Oh, yeah,
dresses
cars all over it.
I saw him
amazing.
last night there.
Ditto.
I
It was
watched
yellow
it.
last night,
It
I
was
think.
yellow, yeah, and he was
Oh,
going
do you
on and
watch,
on.
do you?
Yes, I watch it.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
I'm across all news, Sky,
Research.
CNN, Fox. I'm watching all of it.
How good.
This is what I've realised. You have to watch multiple news channels, and they all say the same story but different.
Absolutely.
And then you've got to figure out as a viewer who's bullshitting and who's not bullshitting. I don't understand. It's like you when you're a little girl. Why aren't certain? How come there's just not one news story? Why are all the stories like twisted? Like someone hates Trump, and then you watch another show, and then they think he's all right, and then it's very hard as a viewer to figure out what's true.
It's a great point you make, and I think back in the day, news traditionally was very much these are the facts. You
Yes.
at home make up your mind, but because there's such a saturation of coverage, and because you've got online, so much opinion is now moved into the reporting of news, and you've got commentators who commentate,
Yes.
and you watch a CNN, and it's very pro-Trump, very anti-Trump. You watch
very.
Fox News, and they're
they love
super
him.
pro-Trump. So it just depends. You watch what you want to be reassured that your beliefs are right. So if you're
God.
so you choose what you want to watch. But you're exactly right. There's so many conflicting things out there. So lucky we've got
mental.
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
That's helpful.
That's the best
bless.
news platform.
How good is it?
Hey, now before we go, just a little bit of a Jackie. You might have to explain to Erin how to get her 2-year-old daughter to stop saying the F word.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This has just
Is that
started to happen.
happening? Is it?
So
Dropping
I
it
stubbed
out
my
left,
toe
right, and centre.
on this vibrating machine. You know those ones that you stand on that's meant to
The
make you hot?
Sibian.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
No,
That's-
no,
no?
it is not the Sibian. Forget what he said. What is it that you're talking
See,
about?
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
You stand on it. It's like those fitness machines that vibrate and you're meant to get all toned and
Oh,
hot.
yeah. I had one of those.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work. Thanks, Scoop. So I
Yeah.
thought I could still drink wine and eat crap and I'd be hot. But no, it didn't work. But anyway, I stubbed my toe in it and I said the F word. And now Eliza says it constantly at the general store.
Oh,
when I put her in
no.
the car, she says
Wow.
F sake. And she uses it in context. She's very clever.
Oh,
but
that's
how do you
She's
get it
using it
to
in
stop?
context.
She
I
did a
don't
big
know.
rendition of Frozen at primary school, at preschool, and I went to pick her up, and the lady pulled me aside and said she did this great song of Let It Go. At the end, threw her hands in the air and went, F. And she said,
wow.
when she's not in trouble, but we just thought we'd let you know that we don't want the other kids picking it up. And
Oh, that's so funny. Now, how do you react when
Well,
she does
see,
it? Because I remember
laugh.
Kitty came in when she was
Me
about
too.
the same
I'd
age, and
laugh.
she walked into the room. She'd been searching for something, and she said, "Where's my effing wand?" And we were all
Wand?
like, "Yeah, she was looking for her
Wand?
wand."
Oh,
yeah,
the Harry Potter thing.
yeah, and we laughed, you see, because like it is actually really funny when you hear it
It
2 year
comes
olds
out of
do
left
that.
field.
Absolutely. And
I
see,
know.
we either go between that's naughty, no, or we laugh. And either way, she gets a reaction.
Yeah.
So she
I
loves it. But
know.
I just need to replace it with another word.
Yeah.
And no, not that word.
No,
Oh, don't
no,
wait.
no.
It
Where
could be
we want
worse.
another
Let's
word.
see how the C word sounds coming out of her mouth. Hey, if you want to see Erin on Friday Night Footy, Broncos versus South 7:30 Channel 9, she's awesome. Great to see you on the 6 o'clock news too. Eh?
Oh,
How
thank
come you're not
you.
on there all the time? Is there a reason? Like,
Because
don't
Cam
change
Williams
it.
does a wonderful job. He does.
yeah.
He does Sunday through to Thursday, and then I do the Friday and Saturday
Oh,
night.
it's sort of like a job share situation,
yeah,
is it?
essentially. So
Yeah.
he's the main sports reader, and I do the weekend
Oh,
sport.
who do you
So,
think Peter Overton likes best, you or Cam?
I mean, really, is that even a question?
No, it's definitely you.
No, definitely Cam. No, Peter's very fond of me, but I think he's just as fond of
Yeah.
Cam.
I like that Peter Overton.
He is
Yeah, he's
genuinely, I
great.
tell you what, it doesn't matter
Yeah,
who
he
you
is.
are, what level you're at,
Yeah.
work experience up to Hugh Marks, the big boss. He treats you beautifully. He's just
Oh,
a
no, he does.
genuine human being.
He's,
And-
he's a dad at the same school Kitty goes to.
Yeah,
and
with
he
Giselle and
does-
Allegra.
Yeah, and he's just always involved in everything, always
Oh,
volunteering.
what a pain in the ass that
No,
sounds like.
it's so beautiful.
He's
I think,
always
wow,
there.
Does
good
he do
on
tuck
you.
shop as well? And,
I bet he does. I
I'd
think
love
he
to
does.
see Peter Overton at a tuck shop. I'd love that.
No.
Chicken or the fish?
Yes.
The top
No, that's more
guy.
airlines, isn't it? Same
Yeah.
thing.
And weddings. You won't know about that, though.
No, I wouldn't. No.
You're giving that a wide. But look, it's great to see you. See, I will
Lovely
watch
to
on
see you.
Friday.
That promise?
I promise. I've got nothing else to do. I'll
Because
watch
Alan's
it.
not on, so you you
Alan's
can watch
not on
me.
Friday. I'll watch you.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to your
Yeah.
feedback.
Nice to see you. 7:30 Channel 9, the Friday Footy. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Erin.
much
Good
for
to
having
see
You're
me.
welcome.
Kyle and Jackie O Show.